One thing you will notice when traveling in Korea is how many old girls in middle and high schools there are. For many Chinese travelers, this can feel unfamiliar or surprising because schools like these barely exist in China. So why does Korea have so many old girls' schools? Let's dive in. When people think of old girls' schools, often Japan comes to mind first. Mostly because of old Japanese animation, I think. But this type of school actually have their roots in the West. Institutions such as Cheltenham Ladies College and Wycombe Abbey in the UK and the Burnley School in the US are world-class with histories stretching back over a century. But if you look at the actual proportion of these schools compared to all secondary schools, Korea's ratio is incredibly high. Seoul in particular has a large number. And I think this is related to Korea's unique historical background. Back in ancient times, much like other kingdoms neighboring China, the Korean peninsula was influenced by China as a tributary state. Indigenous cultures that began with the Samhan, Mahan, Jinan, Byeonhan blended with Confucianism from China, forming the unique social structure and culture of the Korean peninsula. As Korea entered the modern times, moralization was driven by Korean intellectuals who picked up new ideas from Japan and China and by Western missionaries. They took inspiration from those elite Western girls' schools, and they recognized the importance of female education in modern schools for girls. But when Joseon became a Japanese colony, Japanese side of education was imposed. And after Japan's defeat in 1945, the southern part of Korea was run by the US military administration for about 3 years, and it wasn't until 1948 the Republic of Korea was officially established. Because Korea was successfully influenced by both Japan and the US, all girls' schools had already become part of the system. And Korea's first president, with strong backing from the US, Lee Seung-man, also kept this type of school in place. After that, many girls' schools spread across Korea, and the decisive turning point for this phenomenon, I think, was industrialization under Park Chung-hee administration. The economy was driven by light industries back then, like footwear, clothing, and food processing. In this type of male-dominated society, young men were expected to go to university or get white-collar jobs, while most young women were expected to either become homemakers or work in factories. Because career paths for boys and girls were so different, co-ed schools just were not enough to meet the demands of the time. During his administration, there was a surge in all boys' schools and heavy investment in existing schools. That's how schools like Gyeonggi High grew into top-tier institutions. As the light industry boomed and the need for female workers spiked, new girls' schools cropped up to keep pace with social demand. Although most of these schools have now transitioned into general girls' high schools, many of them originally started out as girls' vocational high schools. In practice, the expansion of all girls' schools during that time was almost about supplying labor efficiently. But officially, the government framed it as an effort to expand education opportunities for women. Because of that, a lot of people today think all girls' schools were set up to protect women's right to education and promote women's rights. But the truth is, there were way bigger forces at play behind the scenes. Now some people look at this from a modern perspective and call these policies sexist. But I don't necessarily see it as a misstep. Think of budae-jjigae, the dish well known in China. It's a reminder of an era of crushing poverty. When making ends meet was the main challenge, those policies were likely the most practical way to develop the country in a short period of time. Times have changed. Korea is no longer driven by light industry. So why do these schools still exist, and why do so many parents still prefer them? The answer is dating. I know schools in China are strict about this. Most of them ban students from dating. If you get caught, you might be given a warning, or if it's serious, you could get expelled. But in Korea, there's no nationwide ban on students dating. Korean law drew a clear line primarily to protect minors from adults. They only intervene in relationships between peers when this situation involves sexual offenses. Peer relationships are treated as a private matter. Because schools don't have the legal ground to stop students from dating, they often wash their hands of the drama, shifting all the responsibility to the parents. In an environment like this, parents see dating as a major threat to academic performance. This anxiety is even higher for parents of daughters. So many parents think an all-girls environment is the key to helping their daughters stay focused on their studies. While the original historical purpose of these schools has largely faded, they are rebranded by the parental generation as places where students can stay focused and cut out all the distractions. In regional areas, many all-girls schools are going co-ed, but not in Seoul. Seoul still has a large number of all-girls schools, some with impressive Seoul National University admission records. Take Gangnam Park, for instance. It's one of Seoul's top-tier academic districts, and in this area alone, there are 9 all-girls high schools. Then there's Mokdong, one of the most prestigious academic hubs in Seoul. It's home to one of the top all-girls high schools for SNU admissions. Even though schools across Korea are going co-ed, many all-girls schools still remain in Seoul because of strong SNU results and parents' demand. That said, I don't think this model will last forever. Younger generations grew up in a more open, globalized environment, and most don't see much value in gender separation. They view it as outdated rather than beneficial. Education in Korea has always tied closely to job prospects, and becoming a doctor is still the most prestigious career. And most high schools' top students aim for SNU's College of Medicine, except for pediatrics. I'm sure you know the reason. When it comes to medical school admissions, Korea is unusual because humanities track students can still apply in certain cases, which pushes competition even harder. Beyond the medicine, top students tend to aim for science and engineering like computer science, semiconductors, AI. Other popular choices are social sciences like business and economics. The reason is obvious. These fields offer strong job prospects. Right now, graduates from elite programs like SNU's business and economics, for example, usually find a job without too much trouble. But the market for humanities majors is getting tougher every year. I honestly think that before long, even an SNU degree in the humanities or social sciences might not guarantee a job. The problem is many girls at high schools have struggled to keep up with. For years, stereotypes like girls belonging in the humanities, boys in engineering or medicine, kept the share of girls choosing the science track low. In all-girls schools, the share has been even lower than in co-ed schools. So, students at some all-girls high schools find themselves completely locked out of applying for many science and engineering majors at SNU. High school science in Korea is split into 2 levels. Level 1, basic, and level 2, advanced, closer to university level. You can only take Physics 2 after Physics 1. While many universities still allow STEM applications with just Physics 1, aiming for those majors at SNU generally requires Physics 2 grades. The problem is that because most all-girls schools have fewer science students, they often can't justify opening a Physics 2 class, which means they lack teachers for the subject. And because Korean public schools generally grant teachers tenure and operate on tight budgets, schools can't quickly adjust staffing, hire or fire to match changes in social demand. Korea's job market is shifting fast. Demand for humanities is shrinking, and sectors like semiconductors and AI are dominating. Many all-girls schools have been struggling to pivot. I think a decline in the number of all-girls schools is inevitable, and only a handful of prestigious traditional schools will survive. Despite these trends, some local governments keep pushing to build new girls' schools or to keep funding existing ones. For example, the Incheon City Council has been in a heated debate about this recently. Officially, they say it's all about ensuring equal opportunities, but let's be real. In 2024, girls are not being pushed out of the system. So what's actually driving these policies? Gender issues in South Korea have been pulled deep into politics. It's fallen into a simplified frame. The left represents women's rights, and the right represents men's rights. Polls and election data repeatedly show young female voters tend to lean left, while young male voters cluster on the right. Korean women's organizations have aligned with the left wing led by Lee Jae-myung, while many young men support the right wing led by Lee Jun-seop. We analyzed this phenomenon in episodes 2 and 6. Whether creating or preserving all-girls schools genuinely benefits students, or whether single-sex schooling even makes sense in the 21st century is controversial. What matters is policies supporting all-girls schools are usually advanced under the rhetoric of protecting women's right to learn or creating a girl-friendly learning environment. In today's polarized climate, their decisions to build or preserve these schools generally reflect political calculation more than actual educational benefit. It shows how even the education system is being dragged into the political crossfire. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, bye.